Hello everyone and welcome to what might be the new look on the Saminator channel live streams for the previews of Saturday race meets. I'm looking forward to this. I'm hoping everything goes to plan as I just try and check if I'm on screen at the moment. Am I cutting in and out? I hope that this is me with technology. I hope this doesn't happen all the time. Hold on, I'm gonna have to change something on my... If you're watching this, skip ahead to about 2 minutes while I fix this. So what I did was I tried to change all of the settings so that I could be in about 720p so everyone could see the screen clearer, but instead I'm cutting in and out because my laptop / computer can't handle it. That's awesome. Alright, let's see if this works. Just going to check if I'm any better. So that everyone could see the screen clearer, but instead I'm cutting in and out because my laptop / computer... I'm just trying to listen to myself on the big screen, but I have no idea if it's working or not, so it's because it's a 30-second delay, so I'm just going to try and wait until I make a move and see if I'm all good again. Just bear with me for the time being. This could be a long stream. It's not great, but it'll work, I think. I'm just going to roll with it. Alright, here we go. Geelong preview. So, why did I just close that down? This has gone well so far, hasn't it? Technical issues. But I'm hoping I'm all good. Have you been watching from the start, Sky? Have you been watching from the start, or have you just clicked on then? Because at the start, it seemed to me that I was pausing and stalling. So are you able to just clarify that, please? And while you're doing that, I will get on with the preview. So Geelong hosts its very own Saturday meeting. Who would have thought that? The track is going to be a good track. There looks to be no rain about. It's going to be a muggy day in Geelong. Yeah. Thanks, Sky. Well, I'm not going to change back now. I'm just going to roll with it. Forget the technical issues that we had. Let's just go for it. So, yeah, as I said, it's going to be a muggy day in Geelong. There's no rain predicted. There's hardly any wind to speak of, so we should have good, fair racing. And with the big Geelong straight, every horse should get their chance. Let's hope so. Obviously, for the people that didn't see my YouTube community post, this might be how... thanks, Alison, for that comment, because it seems as though the technical issues has passed. So let's get on with it. That has given me a bit of a rev up. So, what was I saying before? I just lost my train of thought. I've completely forgot what I was saying. So, oh yeah, those who didn't see my YouTube community tab post, this will be probably how things will look into the new year, 2024. So because I've figured out how to make my own time form ratings. Now, they're not as accurate as like your punting form ratings. And there's a few differentials that I'm still learning about and I need to work out myself. But it's better than nothing, and it gives us a bit of an indication of where a horse is rated against other horses in the race. So, because there's such big fields at Geelong and there's 10 races, I spent a fair bit of time on it, getting ratings for every horse. I've also, and you'll see on my Google Sheets later, something else I've done with the trainers and the jockeys just to try and head us in the right direction of finding a winner. So hopefully everything goes smoothly. We can all learn something and we can get some winners. So we're going to start with race 1, a benchmark 64 on a Saturday over the 1700 metres. It's not often a benchmark 64 is run on a Saturday, and it's a mediocre race for a Wednesday meeting usually. So, and again, because it's a benchmark 64, every trainer will be targeting this race. So there's 20 horses at the moment. 16 will run, but there's 20 at the moment. So, hope you're all excited to see my Google Sheets. Here we go. So on here, I've copy and pasted stuff from Racing Australia. You will see, first of all, as you move from left to right, there are different colours on the jockeys and trainers. So on the website I look at that has all the past trainer and jockey statistics, it gives me sort of a rating, like a 1 decimal place rating of how good that trainer or jockey is. And I was able to do it for the Geelong meeting. So I've tried to give them gold, silver, bronze, but that didn't work because the colours blended in a bit. But so for the trainer that rated the highest points of most successful gets a green. So in this case, it was Danny O'Brien. Silver got second. In this case, it's Ma Eustace. And third in this case is a yellow, so that's Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. I didn't really want to do this, but highlight the ones with the lowest strike rate. So the lowest in the real unattractive red is Amy McDonald. And then this guy Keith Hall down here who has Lewandowski probably won't run. And hold on a second. Who was the other one? Vincent Maladi. So, as I just do something on my other monitor. Yeah, that all looks actually pretty good. I'm just looking at, when I was doing, before this stream started, I was looking on the computer. It was all blurry and I thought, oh, there's no way this will work. Hence the technical issues, because I tried to change a few things. But now, it looks pretty good. And on my screen, it keeps starting and stalling, but you guys seem to think it's going okay. So let's keep going. And I did the same with the jockeys. So Michael D, most successful, ahead of John Allen, Damien Lane. And then, unfortunately, this is just what the statistics have given me. There's no hate against these jockeys from me. But Jayla Kennedy, Sheridan Clark, and Jason Maskill. And then the time form rating. Now, I've done these time form ratings based off either a horse's last start, or if they're first up, I've gone to their first up run of last campaign, and I've highlighted, well, not highlighted, but I've put some writing over here saying what rating it was. If it's got nothing written here, then it's just its last start rating. And also, on days where the track was playing pretty quick, I thought that's a bit of an outlier of a number to base the horse off, so I've had to go to a different meeting and rate it that way. So as we can see, the highest rated time form rating horse that I got for this race was Fretta, with 116.81. And as you can see, Fredder is currently the $2 favourite on Sportsbet. So, again, the time form ratings nailed it on this occasion for Fredder. What's Mick Price's favourite pasta? Fredduccini. I hope everybody thinks about that joke after it probably wins on Saturday in the first. That could be a joke Simon Marshall uses on Get On Extra. I should send that in. But why did I do that? Fredder, I've got as my highest rater. And then this horse, Little Jack, it's paying 60 to 1 at the moment. I just want to go to its form. Actually, we'll go to Fredder first, just because we've already talked about it. So, this may have been an outlier of a performance because it was a good 3. I do concede that the rating may be a little bit unrealistic. But when you look at its first ever run, it beat Show Quant in a Sandown Maiden of December 2022 by 3.5 lengths. And that would have rated pretty highly, I assume. So, I'm happy to say Fredder is clearly on top. But as I said, the horse that was a clear second was a horse called Little Jack, who won the Cranbourne Maiden last start very well. Something's just popped up on this monitor saying, error, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Can someone just clarify if that's true, or is my monitor just saying stuff that's not true? If someone could clarify that, that would be awesome. If I don't get any messages or the chat doesn't respond, then I know something's wrong. But Little Jack only won by 0.1 of a length. So that, and it was on a good 3. So that might have been a little bit skew if that result there. It lost by a long way on debut. They ran 1:23.24, which is pretty good for 1400 meters. But we don't know, or I haven't figured out any differentials yet. That's one thing I have to add to my time form ratings. I have to know how different tracks go against the clock. So that's the next step. But even though Little Jack is a clear second rater in the race, I'm not gonna be big on it, as in it's over the odds. Thank you, Sky. I appreciate that. Yeah, as I said, Little Jack, I'm not going to take that into account. There's one that did rate pretty high, though, and its name's Haaland. Erling Haaland, the Man City number 9 blonde-haired striker. I took its rating off its first up run last prep, which got a 101.99, and that could be a bit of an outlier considering it was on synthetic. But thanks again, Sky. Even though it could be a bit of an outlier, you could say as well, One Last Kiss has been running in some pretty good races. Only lost to that horse by 0.2 of a length. Chevalier de Feu's not a bad horse. Started $1.85 favourite against that. Won maiden over 2100 last start. This distance would probably be better over further, and probably doing its best work from the back late. But it's rated pretty high. And apart from that, I mean, Cradle of Life right down not right down the bottom, but down in the emergencies is the second favourite, and it rated pretty high, but that track at the Valley on the 23rd of December was playing pretty fast, so I've got to probably decrease it. Thank you, Alison, thank you. I've probably got to decrease its rating a bit, so that's how Cradle of Life's looking, and there was one more I wanted to take a look at. The Negotiator actually rated lower than what Prince of Cambridge did for its last start run. Now, the Negotiator beat Prince of Cambridge by 3 lengths on this occasion, but because of the weights, Prince of Cambridge is actually rated higher because it ran better under the weight according to my time form equation. It was on a good 3 track as well, so again, was it on the same night as Little Jack? I don't think so. It might have been. Actually, have I just made a discovery? It was on the same night as Little Jack. Prince of Cambridge the negotiators race, Prince of Cambridge ran a 99.55. Little Jack ran a 109.74 on the same night. I didn't know that. I thought they were different nights. I'm not going to get too excited, but wowee. Is Little Jack now way over the odds? Jason Maskeel is riding, and he probably isn't a Saturday rider. And Freda has got Price Kent Jr. Freda deserves to be on top, but Little Jack, if I knew they were running on the same night, I would have been bigger on it. But they are running on the same night. They were running on the same night, Little Jack and Prince of Cambridge. Little Jack way over the odds, in my opinion, now that I've recognised that. Wow. That's big. So those are just tuned in. Freda clearly on top according to my time form ratings in race 1. Little Jack way over the odds in race number 2. Way over the odds in race number 1. And as I was getting back to my point earlier, Prince of Cambridge lost to the negotiator by 3 lengths last start. Prince of Cambridge rated a 99.55 and the negotiator ran a 97.17. So I think that's all. Actually, I was going to do something else. What was I going to do? Oh, yeah. I was going to do a sort of a live thing, a live little writing thing, but I can't really type with one hand. So if I had to have a bet, I'd probably go. Well, it depends how many units all of you guys have, but I'd just go 2 units the win on Freda. And, well, probably 0.25 units each way on Little Jack. That's how. Hold on. That's how my time form ratings would play race 1. Can't wait to see how they go. Sky, race 2. Look, I didn't do any ratings because it's a 2-year-old race, but I looked at it myself. And usually in the Geelong 2-year-old handicap around this time of year, you need a horse that's undefeated at the jump outs and has the ability to settle in the lead. There was a few horses that did that, but the one that took my eye the most was number 4, Stay Focused. I think it's pretty short in the market, but from gate 1 she'll get a good run for Dan Stackhouse and be running well. We're 18 minutes or so into the stream and we've only gotten through one race, but that's with some minor technical issues. So we'll move on to race 3, shall we? Another big field. Okay, so we'll start with the trainers and the jockeys. Now, Lindsay Smith actually rated on top for the trainers ahead of Mitch Freedman and Henry Dwyer. I think this is some sort of a challenger race or whatever they call it, where the big trainers like your Ma Eustace's, your Price Kents aren't allowed to go in, aren't allowed to enter their horses into the race. So Lindsay Smith rated ahead of Mitch Freedman, ahead of Henry Dwyer, and unfortunately Charmaine Barnes was low rater. Scott Cameron was pretty low for the favourite LOU. And there was another trainer in red, but he or she's horse must have got scratched. For jockeys, D Lane rates the highest, ahead of, well, the jockey for silver got scratched. Jai McNeil up there. And Luke Curry, that isn't supposed to be in red because Luke Curry's been riding in Hong Kong recently and it's very hard to get winners in Hong Kong. So don't take that Luke Curry red into account. But Tatum Bull, who I actually think has been riding pretty well lately, was rated as the lowest striking rate jockey at the moment. So that surprised me a bit, but nonetheless, we move on. So a lot of these ratings I had to do again because the meetings were just quick. They were rapid. They were getting results that were very high up. So I redid all the horses with pretty high ratings. And these I mean, the ratings are based off weight, and if every horse had equal weight, that's what it would have rated. But in terms of the upcoming race, you got to favour the horses that are down in the weights, because if they have the same, say Elo U has the same time form rating as Zoo Sensation, then you'd say Elo U clearly on top because it's got 56 and Zoo Sensation's got 62 for the upcoming race. That's what you got to take into account. So Zoo Sensation won last start, rated 119.13. Prior to that, ran a 99.65 at Cranbourne in the race won by Pink Bow Tie. In terms of the horses here, they all rated pretty high, but they all ran on good threes last start. So the highest rated out of all of them was Polanco Slightly with a 94.73. CR7 was pretty good first up last preparation, running a 96.54, but has drawn wide. Greenhill Prince, its last win here, ran a 93.04, so it's not completely out of it. But the one that I'm pretty chirpy about, Elo U rated high last start, but as we can see, or as I scroll down, ran on a good 4 at Geelong, and yeah, that's pretty good. And it won by a length and a quarter. But last start, the start before that, it ran a 72.65, which is really low. So I'd say the Geelong track was playing a little bit skewed in terms of time form ratings for that one, for that meeting. But what I'm really chirpy about is number 15, Roma's Wish. Now this horse, last start, ran a 108.59. I can't give this information away yet, but later in the video, there's a horse that ran in the same race as Roma's Wish, and I rated that horse, and it was just another fish in the sea in terms of horses and time form ratings, and it's ranked about later in the card. It's ranked about, actually I could probably tell it now. Miss Jenny Lynn ran in the same race as Roma's Wish. It's in another race, I think race 9 or race 8, and it's rated against all the other horses in the bottom division, I guess you could say, and its price reflects that. So I'm taking this Roma's Wish run into account that the track was playing a genuine good 4, and this result is accurate. And two just form factors I'm chirpy about is Jordan Childs rides. He's one of my favourite jockeys. He doesn't usually ride for Smiley Chan, and he's a pretty good jockey on his day. And the other form factor is there's a Fillies and Mares 70 over 1400 later on in the card, but Smiley Chan's elected to go in the open 70, meaning she could have a high opinion that this horse is ready to go. The same could be said about Cantina, Jennifer Moose, Rumbled Again, but I just like that stat for Fillies or Mares in opens when there's another Fillies and Mares race later on in the card. So I'm actually really looking forward to this race to see what Roma's Wish can do and to test if my time form ratings are any good, because this has ranked Roma's Wish to basically be like Fredder-like odds. But as we can see in race 3, Roma's Wish is $26 at the moment, so if I was having a bet in the race, I'd be going 0.5 units each way on Roma's Wish. That's how I would be playing race number 3, according to my time form ratings. Hope everyone's enjoying the stream so far as we head on to race number 4 now. We'll start with the trainers. So I forgot to mention this. The thing I'm using is taking into account how the trainers go at the class and the distance. So as you can imagine, for distance races, Mar Eustace are the most successful, ahead of Henry Dwyer and Paul Prushka. Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. aren't in there. And then in terms of jockeys, D Lane ahead of Michael D, ahead of Jordan Childs. And in terms of trainers, Reece Goodwin striking at the least strike rate, ahead of Matthew Enright, Matty Raymond. And for the jockeys, Tatum Bull ahead of Jake Noonan, ahead of Neil Farley. So there wasn't too many horses I had to redo their time form ratings. The favourite is the exciting horse that won by 8 lengths last start, Speranzoso. As I get its form up. So it won by 8 lengths here on a good 3. Immediately I think that's got to be inaccurate. So I went back and I rated its second behind Glentanius, and it spat out 80.43. And I thought, okay, good, I found a flaw. So, yeah, it rated high in terms of last start time form rating, but when I've gone and done it again, and Commander Harry, that meeting at Caulfield on the 16th of December was rapid. It was rapid. I think Baldinho in the last race over 1200 ran a 108.47. I actually rated that race. Baldinho rated higher in that win than what Nature Strip did in his Black Caviar Lightning win. So, yeah, inaccurate. So Commander Harry ran an 80.98 prior to its win. Christmas, a horse that rated high last start, had to redo again, 84.963 back when the track was fair. Now, a lot of these horses, Valley Forge, Fireglow 2, Wasaka, Kailash, they all ran in the same race last start, the Glentanius race, and they've all rated mid to low 80s. Northern Barrage, who ran on the same day, rated a 98.31, but rated a 72.37 prior. But the time form rating says against all these horses that came through the same last start run, which are all in the market, would be covering these easily. So I'm probably in the corner of Northern Barrage at the moment. Another one is Adonis Kick, as I get Adonis Kick's form up. So Adonis Kick actually settled further back in the run than what Northern Barrage did last start. They both came through the same race, and Adonis Kick finished in front of Northern Barrage. So at the moment, well, according to my time form ratings, I'd be in the corner of Northern Barrage and Adonis Kick. If we take a look at the market, Speranzoso is the favourite. I know that. Or is it? It's still favourite at $6. Northern Barrage is almost favourite at $7. But Adonis Kick, 21 into $17. Jai McNeil rides. That's a really good booking. I think Jai McNeil sticks with the horse. He does. So Adonis Kick is down 3 kilos on that run, and Northern Barrage is down 3 kilos as well. Northern Barrage is $7 and Adonis Kick is $17. So based off that, Adonis Kick represents heaps more value than what Northern Barrage does. So if I was having a bet in the race, it would be Northern Barrage and each way Adonis Kick. But I don't really like distance races, so I'm not going to put anything over here, but my words are Northern Barrage and Adonis Kick. That form reference, my time form likes. And even prior to that, its win 2 back, Adonis Kick. It was on a good 4 at Bendigo. It rated 105.56, probably a little bit inaccurate, but still, it's a pretty good rating. So, I might just... So when we come back to it at the end of the video, we just know what we're talking about. Northern Barrage and Adonis Kick in green. Race 5 is the next one. Race 5, a 3-year-old handicap over the 1100 metres. And this race has had 3 scratchings, so we'll take a look at what we've got. So, Danny O'Brien, best at this sort of stuff. according to the statistics. Price Ket Jr. second, then Mar Eustace third. Bedge Good striking at the least percent at the moment in terms of this class and distance. The next trainer got scratched, and then I was surprised that Hawks was rated lower than like a Tom Dabenig, but anyway, that's what the statistics told me. And then Green got scratched, and so did Grey. So Green and Silver got scratched, which only leaves Dan Stackhouse. So when we look at these time form ratings, we go, is it Gitalong or Jitalong? Whatever it is, rated a 117.2. Now, I'm pretty sure that's inaccurate, but I went back through Jitalong's form, and it's run on basically good threes all its life. Maybe in like prior preps it might not have, but in this preparation alone, it's run on good threes. It's run like under 57 seconds for 1,000 meters. So I couldn't do any accurate time form ratings if that's what you want to call it. A horse like Trapeze Warrior, who won its maiden, I'm pretty sure it won its maiden last start. Trapeze Warrior, Cranbourne, maiden, 1200, won by 2 lengths. Not on the same night as Little Jack or what's the other horse called? Prince of Cambridge and the Negotiator and all that. But it's still rated pretty high, and it's in with 54 kilos. The favourite is this thing from New Zealand called Carbonara. And the highest, I actually changed my equation so this horse could rate highly. Because at first when I did it, it rated low, and I thought, no, something's wrong here. So I actually changed my equation. And I could not rate it any higher than what it is there, a 91.36. So either Carbonados has taken stacks of improvement off its only win in New Zealand, or it's a false favourite. So what other... Let's Get Down is another one I want to touch on. So up here, it's run on the synthetic. It rated about a 102 point something, which is not bad. And then here at Sandown, it rated a 105.24, which is pretty good. This horse has blinkers for the first time as well, which is something to take note of. And apart from that, another horse, Nineveh, however you want to pronounce that, ran behind Our Cracklin' Rosie at the Valley, finished half a length behind that horse. Had half a kilo less than that horse and finished about half a length behind that horse as well. But a horse like Gitalong gave Our Crackling Rosie a kilo and a half and beat it by about 5 or 6 or something like that. But Our Crackling Rosie could have come to the end of its preparation, so we don't really know. So basically what I'm saying is I'd stay out of this race because Gitalong's time form ratings, I believe, are inaccurate because they've all been on good threes and all over 1,000 meters where it's just been flying along. However, it could bolt in Gitalong. So if my on-top selection in the race would be Gitalong, just based off the fact that the ratings could be accurate, and a horse like Nineveh, who rated 103.2, got upstaged by Our Cracklin' Rosie when this horse smashed Our Cracklin' Rosie. Trapeze Warrior's got a good chance of winning. Let's Get Down has got a good chance of winning. I think Let's Get Down represents more value than Trapeze Warrior. So, that's race 5 out the way. As I said, I'm going to highlight Gitalong just so when we come back at the end of the video, we know what we're doing. We move on now to race 6. What's this? A benchmark 84 over 1,100 meters. Okay. Now this race was a little bit confusing, but we'll get onto it. Another race where there was skewed ratings, so I had to do my research hard. Start with trainers. Lindsay Smith, killing it. Simon Zara in second. Griffiths de Kock third. Then Patrick Keane, Bedgood and Maroney aren't striking too well at the moment. Damien Lane, got to take that into account. Ahead of Johnny Allen, Geordie Childs, and then Frosty Newitt, Nugent, and who's the other jockey? That's Bo Mertens. So, key horses to note. Sacred Palace, number 3, rated a 104 for this run behind Taunting. Now, I wasn't really too sure how to rate the Ballarat track on this occasion, but my time form rating spat up with a 104.02. So I'm just going to look at that and go, that's its rating. But I'm also a little bit wary of it could be a bit skewed. Rich Fortune and Twin Perfection contested the same race at Cranbourne 2 starts ago, I believe. And Rich Fortune ran a 94.09 on that occasion. Twin Perfection ran at an 86.55. Very different to their 2 ratings here. 122.8 and 119.64 respectively. So I'm taking that into account. At the moment, you'd say Sacred Palace is a really good chance. Then I stumbled upon Sebenak. Now this horse rated a 115.74 for this race here. The Christmas Stakes behind Sharippa and Najem Sahel. Now, I'm going to say that meeting wasn't inaccurate because it was a soft 5. And I even rated that Caulfield track as a good 4, and Sebenak still rated a 115, which is pretty well clear of everything else. It's only won 2 from 17. It's only finished in the top 3 times from 17 starts. And it's 6 for naught at the 1100 metres. But based off the time form ratings, it's extremely hard to beat. I probably should have rated it for another race. I tried to, but I try not to do Sydney races because Sydney, New South Wales tracks tend to race a lot faster than what Melbourne tracks do. I actually, that was right. I rated Sebenak for this run behind Vivian at Caulfield. And I didn't put it on... actually, should I do it again now? Because I forgot what it rated. I'm pretty sure it rated pretty highly. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it on my monitor here, just quickly. Just bear with me for about 1 minute. As I just try and work out the calculations. I'll flick you over here for a second. Actually, you know what? No, forget that idea because I can't reach the keyboard. Anyway, Sebenak rated pretty highly on that race as well, which made me think, yep, that race at Caulfield wasn't a fluke, the Christmas Stakes, and it could just bolt in this race. The horse that I was surprised rated so lowly was Ray Magnerio, who's a clear favourite, but has rated well below par on every single time form rating I've rated it on. I couldn't believe it was 225. If it comes out and bolts in, my time form ratings need a hell of a lot more work. But if it loses, then I'm satisfied because I know my time form ratings have done their job. Bellinger, I won't talk about too much because I'm pretty sure that's a skewed rating and I forgot to change it. That was at Caulfield, I'm pretty sure, on the meeting where the track was playing like a rocket. So don't take that into account. And Keen Enough. Now, this horse ran a 115.87 last start on the 23rd, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, which is pretty quick. But it's maiden win here. I rated it. It didn't rate too well considering the 3-length win. So I'm happy to say that was a little bit skewed. So I'm going to put it over here because I'm confident. If I was having a bet in the race, I'll be having 1 unit the win on Sebanyak. Even though it's only won 2 from 17. Make that a bit smaller. 5 races down on the spreadsheet. 4 to go. 40 minutes the stream has been going for. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, so we're going to recap everything at the end, by the way, as well. Race 7. It's a benchmark 84 over 1400. Now, I've got to just say something after I read out the trainers and jockeys. Ma Eustace, clearly on top. Danny O'Brien in for third. Lane, Allen, Childs, and then like Jack Hill and Tatum Bull and all them that don't rate too well. So, doing the time forms for this, all these horses ran at Caulfield when the track was like a rocket, and it just took forever and ever to find a suitable meeting to rate this horse off and comfortably go, yep, that's its rating, that's where it's at. So, my boy Birmingham, we'll start with him, rated a 99 point something on this occasion, a Sandown good 3, so again, it's probably a little bit skewed. Baldinho rated a 95.16 for its win at Geelong on this day. Good 3 at Ararat, good 3 at Caulfield, skewed results. Lounge Bar Ruby and So Risque rated like that. Dubai Poet. This was a pretty interesting one. I rated it on this Flemington run here. The track was probably playing pretty firm as well, but I still just did it because I probably could have done this run at Sandown, but anyway, we move on. Lafargue ran a 93.37, 2 runs back. That was in the same race as Dubai Poet. Brung King, like I didn't really know how to rate the Ballarat track that day. It was a bogged heavy 10, it looked like. So it's got a rating of 88.45, but I wouldn't be taking that into account as a major way to look at its rating. Toronto Terrier got a 91.78 for its run behind Lounge Bar Ruby last start. Forbidden City, 92.1. Just a Dreamer rated pretty highly, actually, 96.53. But Just a Dreamer's not going to win an 84 on a Saturday, will it? And Belle Savoir, it rated a 111.61 last time it was first up. And I thought, have I just found a hidden gem? This thing could bolt in. And then I did all of its runs after that, and it ran like 60s and 70s, and I thought, 60 and 70 time form ratings, and I thought, I'm not onto anything. So, in conclusion, this race, the time form ratings, don't take them into account. I'm not trusting them one bit. I'm just purely on this race, just going off my own form and my own way to find winners. And even though it's got probably the highest rating here, my on-top selection is most likely going to be Dubai Poet. Big fan of this horse. I'll take a look at its form. So Damien Lane going back aboard fills me with confidence. This horse just needs luck from gate 9. If he can get into the 3 wide running line or 1 out with some cover, it's really hard to beat. So on this day at Caulfield, it was sweating up. It was one of the only horses sweating up in that race in the mounting yard. And it ran pretty well considering that it was getting really hot in the mounting yard. Only finishing 2.5 lengths off Pachero, running third. I just think it was way too fresh for that run at Caulfield. And now, having that run under the belt, it can peak 3 weeks later into the Geelong run. I'm hoping that happens, and I'm pretty confident. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. What price is it paying now, actually? I haven't checked the market since last night, so anything could change. 950. I think 950 is pretty good, to be fair. And the favourites like Brun King, Toronto Terrier, Lounge Bar Ruby have all been running like the same sort of races, same sort of ratings. So I think Dubai Poet, to be honest, I think Dubai Poet is one of the ones to beat. But not taking into account the time form ratings. Race 8 is, I think it's called the Coastal Classic or something like that at Geelong. It's over the 1,700 metres. Taking a look at the trainers, Ma used to dominate this sort of thing. Lindsay's, where's the silver? No, I didn't put a silver because Ma Eustace have got 2 in. So Lindsay Smith is on the 3rd line, and Shane Jackson, Julian Welsh, and Kylie Vella aren't striking too well at this grade. Mickey D, John Allen, Carleen Heffel, and then down the other end, Will Price, Bo Mertens, T.O. Nugent. So, this race. The top 2, Junipal and Keats, they weren't big fans of my time form ratings, or my time form ratings weren't as big of a fans as theirs as what some others might think. Don't Doubt Dory, also pretty poor. That Lord Stakes form in general, my time forms just got rated as not great. And that was on the same day as Sebenak, which I thought was a bit of a skewed result. But, Ajay, how are you? How's the Renegades versus Hurricanes going? I haven't checked the score in ages. How's my boy Chaudhary going? Anyway, Bermudez is, as you can see, 108.6. So I'm pretty happy with that. I rated it off the Dubai Poet run, so it might be a little bit inaccurate. But you know what? I'm just going to take it anyway. This horse carries 53.5. It was good at the end of 1400 last start. Up to the 1700 this start. Can be closer from the gate. Bermudez, well and truly hard to beat. Now, the biggest surprise you might have seen was Independent Road, rated a 42.1. That is low as you can get. So, this horse ran probably about a 2:08.6 for the 2,040 metres at Moonee Valley behind Dunkel. It's good that Shold took a wicket because I've got him on field. Thank you, Jai. When you take a look at Independent Road's form, just based off form, blinkers again, back in distance, on the week back up, you think, you know what, it's a pretty good chance. But usually the ratings don't lie. My ratings might lie, but usually the ratings don't lie. I'm happy to look past Independent Road. Other things to take note of, Flash Feeling ran on the day at Moonee Valley where the track was racing pretty firm, so I think that is a little bit higher, the 103.2. And finally, Mystery Island. Now, this is a very interesting one. And I did this for a few of the Warrnambool races, and the Warrnambool track was playing really firm. So that rating from Mystery Island ran a 141.9 for the 1,700 metres, is pretty high. But then I rated it for another race. It was this Bendigo race where it won a 5-horse field. It actually rated higher than what it won in the Warrnambool race. So I think Mystery Island is over the odds. At what is it at the moment? $10. It's not too big of a price, but $10, you know what? It's pretty good. So I will type something over here. If I was having a bet into this race, it would be 1 unit the win on Bermudez. And I'm only going to go for a 0.25 each way on what's Mystery Island. That's what it's called. That's how I'm playing race 8. That's how I'm playing the Coastal Classic. Let's go. Jai, me and you are on the same horse. John McNeil, Jai in the chat, and me. Alright, race number 9 is probably the feature on the program, I would say. It's the listed Black Pearl Stakes over the 1200 metres for the fillies and mares. As we get on to the trainers, Danny O'Brien, pretty good at this stuff, James Cummings and Henry Dwyer. Henry Dwyer surprised me of how well he was striking at this grade, but it's pretty good. And Jamie Edwards, Michael Shepherdson, Tom Dabberding not doing so good at this end of affairs. Damien Lane, Dean Yendall, John Allen, Geordie Childs, they're all doing pretty well at the moment. Unlike Justin Potter, Mitch Aitken and Zach Spain. Alright, so this race, they've all got basically the same weight. So you are probably taking the best time form rating in this one. Now, we'll get on to the favourite and most likely my tip in the race, Va Via for Godolphin and Damien Lane. As I said, not too keen on rating New South Wales tracks because they're usually faster than Melbourne tracks and gives inaccurate results. So I rated it for its win here at Caulfield, beating Climbing Star and Anilla, and it rated, I think, a similar number to the 118. So I'm happy to say that Randwick run was accurate in terms of 118.03. So I'm happy to look at Varvia as a 118.03. Ron, times are meaningless, weight everything. Well, that could be correct. And times are heavily skewed based off the track and the condition. So you probably are right, but my time form rating takes into account the track condition and the track itself, how tight of a turning track it is, and how freely horses are able to move on it in terms of their speed and what speed they're able to generate. Sounds very confusing, but it makes sense. Where was I? Starlight Valley. Okay, so this is an interesting one. Starlight Valley ran 6th behind Holly Lolly last start, but it rated, as you can see, much higher than what Holly Lolly did because it carried 60. Holly Lolly only carried 54 kilos. And Starlight Valley missed the start, and it's a leader of a horse. So I thought, all right, I'm going to rate it off one of its Morphettville wins. And it rated about a 108, 109, which is about average. It's still pretty good, but it's about average. I think it's over the odds. Wind, grass length. Yeah, so what I'm learning to do now, Ron, is I'm going to try and rate the meeting based off times. So the rating, it'll spit out a number that rates the meeting, and that could take into account the wind. I will obviously check the wind before every meeting and see how it went. And my time form rating also takes into account of the penetrometer. So in terms of grass length, I'm pretty sure that's what you mean by that. Okay, Starlight Valley, I've done that. Prairie Flower ran, I'm pretty sure, on the Moonee Valley Rocket track. Yeah, behind Holly Lolly. It rated pretty highly. Danny St. Darcy the same. So again, I rated these horses all again off other runs, and they weren't as high as what they were on the Moonee Valley track. So I'm not taking that into account too much. And Rose Tycoon and Eternal Flame. Rose Tycoon also ran at Moonee Valley on a good 3, and they just move it too high. So if I was betting in this race, 1.5 units to win on Varvia. Pretty confident that horse can take out the Black Pearl. Should just have too much class. Wave Rider Boy's been a big market mover. Actually, I think started equal favourite last start in the race. Same race as Varvia. So that horse can easily improve off this rating here. But I'm happy to have Varvia. Last race, race number 10, is a Fillies and Mares 70 over 1400. I remember that. Lindsay Smith, Ma Eustace, all good at this. unlike Ellerton, Gallagher, and O'Sullivan. In terms of strike rate, nothing against them, just strike rate and statistics. Damien Lane, Heffel, and Fred Kersley actually rated pretty highly in terms of this, unlike Tatum Bull, Jack Hill, and Justin Potter. So all these top 3 horses ran on good 3s, Moonee Valley / Caulfield, where the times were rapid last start, and those are what the ratings were. These were their ratings prior to that, the run prior to that, and they're much more calmer, like lower numbers. One thing I will point out though, Frenchman's Bay ran half a length off Running By, carrying half a kilo more. And now, Frenchman's Bay carries 2 kilos less than Running By. So off that you would think, Frenchman's Bay should be a better winning chance, should be shorter in the market. Running By's $4.80, Frenchman's Bay is $13. Now I know that's basically, I know that's probably because the SP last start, Running By, was about $1.70. But still, that's immediate value in terms of Frenchman's Bay. However, there's probably no value because Sisterhood rated higher than both of them on both occasions. So, and Yellow Sam. Now, this is not inaccurate. Or it probably is, but I've lost my train of thought again. Yellow Sam ran on that Moonee Valley track, and you think, whatever. But some of its runs last campaign behind Nunthorpe and all that. I did those, and they rated pretty highly consistently. So I'm happy to say that Yellow Sam is a really good winning chance. Again, Salmonator, Yellow Sam. It just works. So I'm happy with Yellow Sam. Nothing really to note down here. Fire of Etna and Miss Passion have to be recognised. Fire of Etna won a race at Seymour last start on a good 4 running 125.25. Pretty good. And then Miss Passion, I think, ran behind Sisterhood at Moonee Valley, where Sisterhood ran the 119.3 and Miss Passion ran the 110.98. So that puts Sisterhood ahead of that horse. Actually, I should check. Miss Passion carried a kilo less than Sisterhood on that occasion, and now it carries 6 kilos less. Only finished 2 lengths off it. So Miss Passion could easily turn the tables on Sisterhood. And Miss Passion's $11 and Sisterhood's $4.50. I think the market has got this wrong a little bit. Okay, last race. Okay, I'm going to put it down here. If I was having something on in the race, I'd have 1 unit win on Yellow Sam. And 0.5 units the win on Miss Passion. That concludes it. So we will go and recap what we have done. Race 1 is the first one to take a look at. Now, Fretta rated very highly, and Little Jack was way over the odds. So that's how I was going to play race 1. Race 2 was the 2-year-old race. I think I said stay focused. 0.5 units each way on Roma's Wish in race 3. I think it's way over the odds based off my time form ratings. Race 4 wasn't a race I was overly keen on, but I think the form of Northern Barrage and Adonis Kick stands out as the main ones. So happy to have those in green. Wasn't keen on race 5 because Geelong's time form ratings could be a little bit inaccurate, but I've got it in there anyway, just in case they're not, as my on-top selection. In race 6, I was keen on Sebenak, 1 unit the win. Yeah, pretty keen on that horse. Race 7, I highlight... Okay, this is the race where my time form ratings were just no help whatsoever, and I just had to go purely off form myself. So, Dubai Poet on top for me in race 7. In terms of race 8, I was happy to have 1 unit the win on Burma Des and 0.25 each way on Mystery Island, number 9. Race 9, happy to have 1.5 units to win on Va Via in the Black Pearl. And then finally, 1 unit to win on Yellow Sam and 0.5 units to win on Miss Passion in race number 10. This is a bit of a new look. This is a bit of an experiment. This could go horribly wrong. But I just want to end on one thing that I've said at the start of the video. What's Mick Price's favourite type of pasta? Fettuccine. I hope everybody remembers that joke. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully we can get some winners, and I'll see you next week to do it all again. Bye for now.